Okay, so this video I'm going to show you how to set up your printers with the ROI Print Manager software. So the first thing, again, we're going to log into our application. We're going to go to Setup. Once in Setup, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure and check this server's IP. You may well have a server that's got more than one network card in, so we want to make sure we select the correct IP or select the correct network card that's going to be able to allow you to talk to your printers, or the application to talk to the printers and back again. It already picks up your IP or subnet, so we're going to leave that. If you want to have a specific IP address for a specific printer, you can type that in and it will just pick up that printer, or it's going to pick up all printers within that subnet range. And then you can click on device type, and if you want to select or search for particular models, makes or models, or you can just click on all and leave it at that. And then again, you've got a little checkbox there that says detect new printers only, which will only pick up new printers, but we're not going to bother with that. We'll just click on detect printers. The software goes out, does a scan of that subnet, and it will start picking up devices. And here you can see it's picked up a few devices, and on the right hand side you can see new device detected as well. So it picks up the IP address of the printer, it picks up the description of the printer, suggested printer name, you can change that to whatever you want, and then it automatically picks up the driver. If it can't detect the driver, like the very top one there, the Oki, we have to select the driver for it so we can tell it which driver to use. So we hit the drop down box. Normally it would be the universal, but we're going to select the actual specific driver for that particular Oki printer. Once you've done that, you put a tick in the box, and once you've done that, we're going to click on set up devices. And what it's going to do, it's here is just a quick pop-up. This actually tells you any other changes, manual changes you're going to need to make on the device itself and what those changes are. So for instance, the enablement kit for this Kyocera card must be installed and licensed before you push out the software, so make sure you do that. Just information of what you need to do. Once you click on that, you can see that the software starts trying to configure all the different printers. So we've got like a Sharp, a Xerox, Oki, and a Panasonic there, and it actually goes out, detects the printer, pushes the software out, and while it's doing it, it actually also creates a Windows queue as well, and places that Windows queue in your devices and printers. Okay, so here we are under printers and MFDs, and you can see that the printers that we selected for configuration have been configured. Basically, the device has been locked down. The embedded software has been pushed out, and here you can see if you highlight one like the Sharp, it will tell you everything you need to know. Automatically by default, it's enabled. The Sharp name or the name of the printer, the IP address, the MAC address. It tries to detect the serial number, but you could put a serial number in if you wanted to. The port number, this is again default. It's the port that the printers use to talk back to the application, and vice versa. The Windows driver, again, and the printer definition is obviously going to be a Sharp. And then you'll see that it's announced on the network, which is checked. Mobile target is checked, which means that it's ready to be used as a mobile printer for your mobile printing. And then if you wanted to, you could select this to be published up in the Google Cloud as well for Google Cloud printing. The next thing I'm going to go to is authentication. Here you'll see what platform it is. So if it was like a Xerox, it will be EIP. This is Sharp, so it's going to be OSA. The web service port, the admin user again, and again, very important, the authentication server, which is stored on the device, so it knows where to communicate back to, and the port number that it's used. The login type, what type of login do you want to see on the device? If you click in there, you can actually say shortcode pin, or even none. These will be covered in more detail later on in another video. And then if you click on advanced here again, if you're using a card reader, what type? If in this case, if it's a Sharp, you need to tell it if it's a OSA model 3 or 3.5, and then you would USB printing. If you're billing from PJL, you could select that as well. And then of course it's got a few things there about supported printer languages, PCL, text. If the printer prints, for instance, PDF natively on the device itself, you could actually hit the drop down box and select PDF. That way it's and then tick the button, confirm the update, and basically you're telling the software that, hey, this device supports native PDF language as well. If we go to devices and printers, you will see that during the configuration, so when we clicked on setup devices right at the beginning, and it was pushing out, locking the device down, pushing out the embedded software, it's also creating a Windows queue, and there's a couple of Windows queues that it creates. One is you'll always see for every printer an ROI in brackets, so printer name with ROI in brackets. That basically means that is a tracking queue. So anybody can print to that. It's almost like direct printing, so the job will go straight out from that printer. The only difference being, of course, is that we will track any usage, any print volumes going to that particular device. Next, you have a converter. The converter is only used, and again, that's created for each driver. That's on that on the server, and the converter is used for mobile printing, and it basically does what it says. It converts jobs. And then you have the MyQ. MyQ is automatically by default created, and again by default it's always called the MyQ. The MyQ is one of the most important queues, because that's basically your secure queue. That is the queue where all the jobs, anybody printing through the MyQ, your jobs get held and then get waiting there for your users to authenticate at the device, and they'll see their jobs there, and the jobs will get released. So they're the three different types of queues that are created when you click on setup and set up your devices. That's it. In the next video, we'll cover printers and MFDs in more detail, and we'll go through a bit more about authentication and other bits and pieces. But as far as setting up your devices and pushing out, that's all you need to know. It's as simple as that.